Alright, so I've been seeing this pattern everywhere recently, and I think it's something we really need to talk about. The whole solo entrepreneur thing, yeah, that's dying. I know, that sounds crazy, especially when everyone's been telling you to be a solopreneur, build your empire alone, hustle in silence, all that stuff. But hear me out, because what's replacing it is actually way better. So let's talk about what's actually happening right now. For years, entrepreneurship has been sold as this lonely path, right? You have probably seen it everywhere online. Work alone, build alone, grind behind your laptop, be independent, be detached. That whole image of one person against the world. And look, I get it. Technology made this possible. One person can literally do the work of 10 people now. That's amazing, but something got lost along the way. Something important. People started realizing they weren't failing because they weren't smart enough or skilled enough. They were failing because they were completely alone. Loneliness, burnout, no feedback, no momentum, no meaning behind what they were doing. Think about it. When you're building something by yourself, who do you celebrate wins with? Who do you brainstorm with when you're stuck? Who keeps you accountable when motivation drops? Nobody. And that's the problem. Even if you look at history and philosophy, there's always been this understanding that isolation isn't sustainable. But somehow, in the internet age, we glorified it. We made it seem like if you needed other people, you were weak or not cut out for entrepreneurship. And now, with AI making everything automated, working alone is about to get even more meaningless. Because when AI can handle all your tasks, what's left? Just you alone, with no human connection in your work. That's not freedom, that's just empty. So here's where things get interesting. The solopreneur isn't disappearing, it's evolving into something way more powerful. It's becoming what I call the one-person community. Let me explain what I mean by this, because it's not what you think. It's still one person, one philosophy, one mission, one direction. You're still the leader, you're still in control. But instead of building alone, you're gathering other people around the same path. You're creating a space where people connect, grow, struggle, and win together. And you are guiding them. This isn't a company. It's not a corporation. It's not a startup with employees and officers and investors and all that traditional business stuff. It's a tribe, a digital space, a community. And the beautiful thing, you don't need employees. You don't need an office. You don't need investors throwing money at you. What you need is alignment. You need people who believe in the same things you believe in. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but why does this work better than just teaching people stuff or selling products? Great question. Here's the thing. Information doesn't change people. Environment does. Think about all the courses you have bought, all the books you have read, all the videos you have watched. Did they all transform your life? Probably not. And it's not because the information was bad. It's because information alone isn't enough. People don't fail because they lack knowledge. We live in an age where you can learn anything for free on YouTube. People fail because they lack accountability. They lack feedback. They lack shared struggle. They lack social reinforcement. They lack identity support. This is exactly why communities work so well. When you're part of a community, motivation starts to compound. Discipline spreads from person to person. Courage becomes contagious. One person's breakthrough becomes proof for everyone else that it's possible. A one-person community creates transformation not just by teaching, but by creating the right environment. And transformation, that's what people actually pay for. Not information, transformation. Let me tell you why this model is about to explode in the next few years. AI is making everything faster, cheaper, and easier. That's great for productivity, but it's also making everything lonelier. Where AI handles all your tasks, humans start craving meaning, and meaning comes from contribution, from connection, from being part of something. A community gives people exactly what they're looking for: a role to play, a voice that matters, a place where they belong, a purpose beyond just making money. This is why community-based businesses are so resilient. They are recurring revenue, they are relationship-driven, they are human-centered, they are identity-based, and here's the kicker, they are really hard to copy. Think about it, a course can be pirated, right? Someone can screen record it and share it. A skill can be automated by AI. A product can be replaced by a competitor. But a culture, a community, you can't copy that. you can't automate genuine human connection. Your community becomes your competitive advantage. It becomes the thing that nobody else can replicate. So let's get practical for a second. How do you actually make money with a one-person community? There are different ways to structure this, and you can use multiple approaches. Think about it like tiers of value you can provide. First, there's the done for you level. This could be one-on-one coaching or consulting where you're directly solving problems for people. High value, high price, but limited by your time. Then there's the done with you level. This is group coaching, workshops, or live calls where you're guiding multiple people at once. This scales better because you're helping many people simultaneously. And finally, there's the do-it-yourself level. This is your courses, your templates, your guides, packaged knowledge that people can consume on their own time. But here's what makes the community model special. You're not just selling one of these things. You're creating a space where all of this happens together. People get the courses, they get the group support, they get access to you, and most importantly, they get access to each other. The community becomes the container that holds everything together and makes it all more valuable. Let's talk about freedom for a minute, because I think this is where people get confused. Freedom used to mean working alone, being independent, not needing anyone. But is that really freedom? Or is that just isolation with a fancy label? True freedom is actually about choosing who you work with. It's about building something that gives you time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, and social freedom, all at the same time. With a one-person community, you're not alone. You're not dependent on algorithm changes or platform updates. You're not trapped in transactional work where you're constantly chasing the next client or the next sale. Instead, you're leading a group of people who trust you, who learn from you, and who grow alongside you. That's sustainable. That's fulfilling. That's real freedom. And you don't need millions of followers to make this work. You don't need to be internet famous. You just need a few hundred people, maybe even just 100 people, who genuinely believe in your philosophy and the path you're leading them on. Quality over quantity, always. So how am I so confident this is where things are heading? Look around. Institutions are collapsing. Traditional careers are unstable. The paths that worked for previous generations don't work anymore. People are lost. They don't know where to go or who to trust. So what do? They follow people, not systems. They join communities, not companies. They align with philosophies, not job titles. The future belongs to those who can gather others around a shared vision. The future belongs to community builders, not influencers who just want attention, not gurus selling get-rich-quick schemes, not hustlers trying to maximize every penny, but leaders of small tribes with a clear worldview and a genuine desire to help people transform. AI will handle the operations. Platforms will handle the distribution. Your job, you handle the humans. That's the leverage. That's the moat. That's what can't be automated. Alright, so how do you actually begin building your one-person community? Let me break this down into steps you can take right now. First, you need to get clear on your philosophy. What do you believe that others might not? What path are you on that others want to follow? What transformation have you experienced that others are seeking? This isn't about being perfect or having everything figured out. It's about being a few steps ahead and helping others walk the same path. That's it. Next, you need to start building distribution. And I know that sounds fancy, but all it means is getting eyeballs on your stuff. Start posting on social media. Share your thoughts, your experiences, your lessons learned. Talk about your journey openly. Remember, you don't need to have years of experience to start sharing. You just need perspective. You need to document what you are learning as you learn it. That's valuable to people who are a few steps behind you. Then understand marketing and psychology. You need to know what catches attention, what holds attention, what people actually value, how to tell stories, how to use concepts and metaphors that make complex ideas simple. This isn't manipulation, it's communication. It's making sure your message actually reaches the people who need to hear it. As you build an audience, start having conversations, get into the DMs, ask questions, understand what people are struggling with, what they're trying to achieve, what's holding them back. Your community will emerge from these conversations. You will start to see patterns in what people need. That's how you will know what to build for them. Let's talk about leverage for a second, because this is important. Traditional business says leverage comes from capital, from employees, from infrastructure. But in the digital age, leverage comes from three things: code, media, and community. Code is the back end, the tools and systems that make things scalable. Media is the front end, how you communicate and attract attention. But community is what makes everything else more valuable. When you have a strong community, your content gets shared more, your products sell better, your impact grows faster. The community amplifies everything else you do. And unlike employees or capital, a community actually gets stronger over time. As more people join and contribute, the value for everyone increases. That's leverage that compounds. So here's the reality. The world is going personal. We're losing trust in traditional education. We're losing trust in corporations. People want human connection. They want authenticity. They want to be part of something real. Everything's becoming decentralized. YouTube is educating people faster than colleges. People are learning skills online and making money without following traditional paths. And this trend is only going to accelerate. Many people are already part of this shift. The question is, are you going to be a participant or a leader? Are you going to be someone who joins communities or someone who builds them? Because here's what I know. There are almost 8 billion people on this planet, and not everyone can or should start a traditional company, but everyone has knowledge, experience, and perspective that could help someone else. The one-person community model makes entrepreneurship accessible in a way it's never been before. You don't need funding, you don't need a team, you don't need an office or inventory or complex operations. You just need a mission, a philosophy, and a willingness to gather people around a shared path. Look, I get it. This might sound overwhelming. Building a community, creating content, managing all these moving pieces. It's a lot. But here's the thing, you don't have to figure it all out alone. That's actually the whole point of what we've been talking about. If you're serious about building your own one-person community, if you want to create something meaningful that generates income while giving you freedom, then you need the right environment and resources to make it happen. That's exactly why I created the One-Person Business Academy. It's a community specifically designed to teach you how to build your one-person business and your one-person community from the ground up. Inside, you will find educational resources that walk you through every step, from clarifying your philosophy and building your audience to creating offers and managing your community. But most importantly, you'll find successful case studies from people who have already done this. Real examples you can model and take inspiration from. Not fancy theory, but real life successful communities you can model from. Isn't that the best way to learn? You won't be figuring this out alone. You'll be part of a community of people on the same path, learning together, sharing wins, helping each other overcome obstacles. That's the power of community in action. The One-Person Business Academy is a solution to everything we have talked about in this video. It gives you the knowledge, the support, and the proven frameworks to actually build this for yourself. So if this resonates with you, if you're ready to stop building alone and start building with a community behind you, check out the first link in the description below. That's where you'll find the One-Person Business Academy. The solo entrepreneur era taught us how to work alone. The one-person community era is teaching us how to lead together. You don't need to build a massive corporation. You don't need to dominate an entire industry. You don't need millions of followers or venture capital or any of that traditional stuff. What you need is a mission, a philosophy, and a group of people walking the same path with you. In the age of AI, the most valuable thing you can build isn't a product or a service or even a personal brand. It's a place where people belong, a space where transformation happens, a community where people become better versions of themselves. That's the future, and that future is available to you right now if you're willing to step into it. So stop building alone, start building together. Create a one-person community and watch how everything changes, not just for the people you help, but for yourself too. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you found this valuable, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.